Calvin Ford knows that Lamont Roach won't win against Gervonta Davis.
You got Bob and Weed, job, Bob and Weed.
He doesn't need to make things sound nicer than they are. After all, he has trained with Davis himself and knows exactly what he is capable of. Just one look at Lamont Roach, and he can already tell that this fight will be a disaster. But let's be clear, it won't be a disaster for Davis. No, not at all. The real trouble is coming for Roach. If he thinks he stands a chance, he might want to think again. Davis is a force of nature in the ring. Because let's face it, this could be the fight that ends his career. Tank Davis is not like other fighters. Many have tried to beat him.
Want me to say?
Go ahead so I can call Cap. Go ahead. Come on. Get it over with.
I say 9th round.
What?
I say 9th round.
You said 9th?
Yeah.
But not one of them has succeeded. The only person who came close was Ryan Garcia. But in the end, Davis still walked away with the victory. Calvin Ford understands why Tank is so special. Even before he started coaching him, Tank's old trainers already told him that this guy was different. They saw something in him that made him stand out from the rest. Ford knew Tank had talent, but he didn't expect the gap between him and other fighters to be this big. Is there any way for Roach to escape the danger that's coming his way? Well, he could quit the match. That would be the easiest option. But he's not foolish enough to walk away from a fight that could make him a star overnight. If he somehow knocks out Tank, his name would be everywhere. But let's be honest, that's not likely to happen. Tank Davis is not just any fighter. He trains harder than most and always comes prepared. Every fight he enters, he makes sure he's in the best shape possible. Roach may have confidence, but confidence alone won't be enough. He needs more than just belief in himself. Ford once shared a story about how serious Tank is when it comes to training. There was a time when Ford brought in a sparring partner for him. It was supposed to be just a regular practice session, nothing too intense. But things didn't go as Ford expected. As soon as the match started, Tank showed just how powerful he really is. He landed a huge punch on his sparring partner, and before anyone knew it, the guy was lying on the canvas, completely knocked out. If Roach isn't careful during their match, he might end up experiencing the same fate. Tank is known for his devastating knockouts, and they don't just happen by luck. He has a way of setting traps, luring his opponents in, and then landing the perfect shot when they least expect it. That's what makes him so dangerous. He doesn't just rely on power. He's smart in the ring. He studies his opponents, waits for the right moment, and then strikes with precision. It's why so many fighters have fallen before him, and it's exactly what Roach needs to watch out for. Ford has seen this happen time and time again. He knows that when Tank steps into the ring, there's always a good chance the fight will end with his opponent on the canvas. And when the time comes for Tank to face Roach, Ford is sure it won't be any different. Believe it or not, Roach is fully aware of how dangerous his opponent is. He's probably seen the brutal knockouts, the way Tank's past opponents hit the canvas with no chance of getting back up. He knows what he's up against, but knowing and surviving are two different things. Whether he likes it or not, most people expect him to suffer the same fate on March 1st. The pattern has repeated itself too many times for anyone to think this fight will be any different. Is that a harsh prediction? Maybe. But Roach might as well get used to the cold, hard truth now. If he doesn't adjust and prepare for the worst, he'll be in for a painful wake-up call when the bell rings. But knowing how dangerous Davis is, Roach is putting in extra work. He's sharpening his defense, fine-tuning his combinations, and pushing himself to generate more power. Out of everything, that last part is what excites him the most. He understands that against a knockout artist like Tank, pure defense won't be enough. Roach knows he can't just avoid damage, he has to dish it out too. That's why he's working tirelessly to make his punches stronger, sharper, and more punishing. If he can land the right shot at the right time, the fight could take an unexpected turn. If his power matches or even surpasses Tank's, he just might have a real shot at pulling off an upset. But that's a big If. And on fight night, we'll see if all his preparation was enough. No one would mistake Roach for a knockout artist. If anyone deserves that title, it's Davis, without question. His record speaks for itself. But despite that, Roach has a sneaking suspicion that Tank might not show up at his best on fight night. Why? Because Roach doesn't see Davis as a true boxer. He believes Tank relies too much on his power and not enough on skill.
He looks at knife.
I'm telling him, you saying you going down in a knife? You know that power curry late.
I know you got some sneaky power. That's what I do know.
What?
Who said that? You said
My
what?
man over
You
there
said what?
bet.
Yeah, that's why I've been waiting for to talk. How much you want back? How much you want to bet? Because I came up here alone. How much y'all want bet? How much you want bet? Just call it out.
In his mind, Davis wins because of his raw strength, not because he's a well-rounded fighter. Sure, Tank can punch hard enough to break a wall, but Roach believes that's where his abilities stop. Davis is just a power puncher. And if you can't set up your shots properly, landing those punches becomes a lot harder. Aside from working on his power, Roach is sharpening his boxing IQ. He knows that brute force alone won't win this fight. If he can outthink Davis, control the pace, and exploit the areas where Tank struggles, he believes he has a real shot at victory. We know power isn't Roach's main weapon, but he did put a serious beating on Firgal McCrory, stopping him in the 8th round. On the surface, it was just another solid performance, but for Roach, it meant much more. Dropping and finishing an undefeated fighter was proof that his power is growing. He can basically hurt opponents, even those who have never tasted defeat. That kind of confidence boost is priceless, though it's not like Roach was lacking in self-belief to begin with. On March 1st, Fight Night will arrive at Brooklyn's Barclays Center, and Roach says he's ready to step into the ring and trade punches. He plans to march straight to the middle, clench his fists, and go toe-to-toe with Davis. But deep down, he knows that won't be the whole story. Knocking Davis out early would be the perfect outcome. It would mean less danger, less effort, and an easier night overall. But Roach understands that things don't always go that smoothly, especially against a fighter like Davis. He's not walking in expecting a quick win, even if that's what he hopes for. Roach will do everything in his power to finish the fight early, but he's not taking any shortcuts when it comes to his conditioning. He knows that Davis is tough and might be able to withstand his best shots for the full 12 rounds. If that's the case, Roach is prepared to go the distance and fight until the final bell. I'm expecting it to be a great fight, and I'm prepared to go 12 rounds. But what do you think? Is Calvin Ford right in believing that no matter how hard Lamont Roach trains, he still won't be able to match Tank Davis? Share your thoughts in the comments below.